Hi, everybody.
Filibuster by talking about Golem.
I love it. So we're gonna start this right now, and we're gonna cut this whole. Only those that were here that saw this happen can prove that it ever happened. Because from this moment on, hi everybody, welcome to a wonderful little chat between us and y'all. I want to talk all about Golem and a little bit about PAX Unplugged. Because we went this past December, and we want to talk about that and our experience there as well. And I promise everything will kind of flow into Golem. I have so many questions about Golem, and that makes me so happy. I'm honored and grateful that y'all are curious about our upcoming actual play, and we will get all into that. But I want to talk briefly about PAX Unplugged. PAX Unplugged, if y'all are not familiar, is one of the many PAX conventions that is held in Philadelphia, in Philly. And it is a gaming tabletop convention that has, I think, it's unplugged because it's like unplugged, get it?
No electronics.
No electronics, tabletop. But in recent years has really, really been overtaken, alongside, I wouldn't say overtaken, has really blossomed in the ttrpg space. A lot of really amazing things there. So we love going to it, and it's still by far my favorite convention that we go to. It helps that it's in Philly, because Philly has fabulous food. It's restaurant city. It's my favorite. And no offense to things like Gen Con, but I'm not a huge fan of Indianapolis. And I should say no offense to people from Indianapolis. It was very cold at PAX this year. It was very, very cold. But I think it was interesting. As Jacob here in chat is very familiar with as well. To talk about why it was interesting, I do have to I'm gonna say it out loud. Yeah, I did already. It's all good. It's over. We're canceled from Indianapolis. But okay, so a lot of y'all that are watching us now are familiar with this, but I know maybe some folks are not. So we're going to kind of take it from the top and talk about both why a new show, why are we doing Golem, and coincidentally also why PAX Unplugged this year was interesting. And I use that term generously, but it wasn't negative at all. I think it was very, very good for us. But at the height of our previous show, Outcast and Outclassed, we, as WafflesMapleSyrup, experienced a lot of hardships revolving around our Jewish identity, unfortunately. And that came with a lot of hurt and a lot of pain. That was really a big struggle to get through at the time. But we did get through it, and a lot of thanks and gratefulness. That's a word.
It is. You just said it really weird.
Is it grateful? I guess I did say.
I think gratefulness is a word for sure.
It is now. A huge thank you to the amazing nerdy Jewish community that we found. Thanks to honestly all of this that happened. So, I'm sure there's a really wonderful life lesson in there as well. That throughout the hardship, you'll find some really good, amazing things. One of my favorite sayings that I credit Waffles for hearing, I heard it for the first time from Waffles, which is that whether you call it life or you call it God or whatever that means to you, life doesn't put you through things that you can't handle, because we're here. So we handled it. But we also know that it's not an isolated incident, the situation that we were dealing with. And there is still a lot of hate and a lot of interesting experiences in the sphere that we love so very much, the TTRPG industry sphere, whatever you want to call it. And one of the big realizations that we had from everything we went through, which led to basically, here's the main problem, is that the Jewish TTRPG fans and creators no longer feel like they have a community. And that's why we're doing something like this show that we want to put on. So a step forward for us and what we're looking to do with Golem is to become a safe haven for those that no longer have a place to feel comfortable. Because if we didn't have that space when everything would happen to us, we want to be that space for everybody else. So how are we going to do that? With Golem. And hopefully that is just the beginning of an amazing community that we're really excited to build, as some of y'all have already shown up here, and I'm super, super grateful. So while y'all are just talking about weather in chat,
we're talking about Minnesota.
I
didn't want to interrupt vocally during that to talk about weather, so.
Got it. Well, anyway, so what was I? Yeah, weather. You here with me,
That's
Waffles?
where you ended. I am. I'm vastly here with you.
All right. So, briefly about PAX Unplugged. Part of that was why it was a very interesting experience. But I am very
Yeah, we're weathering storms. Full circle.
Very smooth. I like that, weathering storms.
Nice transition.
So talking about PAX Unplugged again, very briefly, we went to a convention knowing that, some people would be looking at us differently than they ever have before. And I cannot express how glad I am that we went. It really nailed it home. How we're here, we're staying, we're not going anywhere. We had some amazing conversations. We hope to work with a lot of really cool folks for the new show. And it was rejuvenating like it always is. It was different than what it ever was for us. I know it definitely had different tones than in previous years, but it's not something that I'm looking to stop going to anytime soon. Definitely love PAX Unplugged and highly recommend it as a convention as a whole. But anyways, that was my little bit about PAX and a little bit about Golem.
Heck yeah.
So I suppose we can go a little bit into the deep end with Golem.
By jumping live on YouTube.
Damn it.
I'm just kidding.
Such a good moment too. You are the worst inner thoughts that I have, Waffles.
I'm comedic timing spit out loud before my brain can stop me.
Perfect. All right. So we asked our lovely community in our Discord to send us questions about Golem prior to the show. And as the same time, if y'all have any questions, meanwhile, as we talk about different things, feel free to put them in chat. We're here to answer them. We'll answer them either afterwards, or if I already have something for that, I'll tell you, hold on, or we'll answer right in the moment. But feel free to put your questions in chat, and if you can help me put a big Q or question in front of it so I can see it clearly. So what is Golem? What is Golem, Waffles?
It's a clay doll.
Quiz.
That's my airplane answer. Because you got me to watch that movie recently.
It's what you said.
It's a clay doll, but that doesn't matter right now.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about a show.
All right. So the main idea, the main tagline behind Golem is a story featuring Jewish themes and Jewish stories, told from unique and diverse perspectives, like we always like to bring on anything WMS, but specifically representing the ideas of Tikkun Olam. Tikkun Olam, if you're not familiar, means repairing the world, and it is a core concept in Judaism of leaving the world better than you found it. I think that's something that's really important to a lot of us. And not only are we trying to do that on a meta level with, producing the show, I think that's going to be a big part of the story we tell within the show, of just leaving the world a better place than you found it.
Tikkun Olam Inception.
Inception, yes. Tikkun Olam within Tikkun Olam. So let's talk genre. So this is going to be a very interesting mix of fantasy and sci-fi intertwined into a dramatic solarpunk adventure. I know that there's varying familiarities to what solarpunk means to people, so I'll briefly go over that as well. If you're familiar with things like steampunk or cyberpunk, usually anything punk involves the power source of whatever technology. So steampunk comes from steam. But in this case, solarpunk comes from solar, the sun, and that type of energy and that type of power. Typically, what comes along with solarpunk is green, renewable energy. Very oftentimes, solarpunk can imply a utopia of a kind, of where, everything is renewable, everything is great. We use solar energy, we use renewable energy. But I'll be honest, what kind of story would we be telling if it was already a utopia?
That'd be so boring.
In cyberpunk, the energy source is cyber. Exactly. You notice how I left that out because I don't actually know what energy source.
Hyper electricity.
Yeah. Super cyber.
They couldn't call it electric punk,
The world can be utopia, but people are still gonna people. I like that. I like that a lot.
That's true.
So yes, fantasy and sci-fi. Why? Because we are going to, we're aiming to be the first show that intertwines Pathfinder2e and Starfinder2e. As some of y'all know in the Paizo verse, that Starfinder2e is out in playtest, but not fully out yet. So there's a playtest out there. But it should be launching around mid sometimes 2025. I forget exactly. Don't quote me on that. Go look at.
I'm a little later, 2025, I think. So towards the last third.
Matrix become people punk. We're going to be setting the groundwork as we start this off. Actually, I don't know. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so we're going to be starting this off in Pathfinder2e. So what the system that we know and love, and then we are going to be seamlessly incorporating it in our interesting ways into sci-fi with Starfinder. Neopunk. I'm mad at that one. That's
like Neopets,
because it also works for neon, because like cyberpunk has so much neon things. I think cyberpunk needs to be renamed to neon punk.
Neopunk, I think.
Punk.
I think neon punk's kind of weird.
Oh, punk. I know that sounds funny, but I like the thought behind that. Punk music is a power
punk
source.
music. Yeah. That implies the existence of rock punk and rap punk.
Ballad punk?
Country punk.
Not country punk.
Please, not country punk.
No.
Well, we're in the soup punk now.
Ooh, the soup universe comes for us all. We cannot
Isn't
escape.
the ocean just soup?
Actually, okay, because Shlomo, you mentioned soup punk first. I was waiting. That was the keyword of this stream. No, I made that up. But I'll give a small little thing where if you don't think soup is going to make its way into a Jewish show, you'd be wrong, because it's going to be there, and we have plans. Because soup is going to be important. That's your first taste at something from within that world. But
Your first taste.
I didn't realize I made that pun. Let's go. Okay, so do you all want to hear like a little adventure hook line, maybe? That's like probably, yeah. Give me all the deets, every deet. Okay.
I mean, I wrote this, so.
Yes, and I will. This is what always happens. Waffles is amazing behind the scenes organizer, like putting everything together, making us look so polished, and I'm out here spouting soup from my mouth, and hopefully something comes out. So guys, ready?
You got this.
With the gods now gone, a group of small-town nobodies embark on a journey to save their village and possibly the world.
No God.
that's a huge part for us. I'm very, very excited. There's so much lore to unpack with that. Small town nobodies.
Oh my.
Yeah, I just dissed our players before any game has even started.
You're a nobody.
Just a small town girl. Before I get
living in the Solarpunk world. That's our opening theme song.
That will be, yes. That, and then we have to incorporate. So one other thing that we decided that we really wanted for once we named it Golem is just a sound bite that goes.
I did this once and it just hooked.
Golem, golem, golem.
Golem, golem, golem.
Just has to be there somewhere. I just need a sound bite of that whenever I want it. I don't think that's like copyrighted.
There's no way the tones can be copyrighted, and we're changing the words. So like, golem, golem, golem.
They said the name of the show.
It's over.
Okay.
You are gonna be level 1 the whole time. So.
Yeah, the whole time everyone's gonna be level 1. So extras, little other tidbits in case anything I missed, or apologies if it's repeats. Pathfinder2e and Starfinder2e. Yes, I said that. Dual GMs. That means both Waffles and I are going to co-GM it. I'm very curious about how that will come. I'm very excited for it as well. We'll talk a little bit more about that because I know we have specific questions about that, so I'll hold off for those questions.
We're gonna fight each other so much.
Just constant. We're gonna have live music DJ'd by Waffles. I think that's gonna be an amazing layer of immersion, and I'm really excited for that because if y'all are familiar with Outcast and Outclassed, you know how phenomenal he was doing that while playing a character, let alone if he has the time to fully GM and DJ. So that'll be really exciting. Super excited for the branding of this show, y'all. One of the lovely usernames you see in chat here, Cubus Octopus, is our amazing artist. I am going to show you some of these in a second because it's amazing and phenomenal, and it's going to get you so hyped because it gets me so hyped, and I'm excited. I'm
gonna black this out on YouTube so no one can see it. I'm just kidding.
And then another thing I'm super excited about, because this has to be said, we could not be making this show without all of your support. We made a GoFundMe to be able to even make this show, and we raised $4,000 in like a week and a half, which blew our freaking minds. So thank you all so much for this. Syrup states that is acceptable to re-roll a drop dice, however, based Waffles rules that one must use whatever number it landed on the floor with.
Must.
Do we need like a Tanakh-worthy interpretation of the rules that of all of the things that Waffles and I say, and then explain how, like, well, this rabbi says.
We should keep a running one.
We should. Every contradiction earns the players. I don't want to say a chicken egg. I don't want to give them a hero point, but earns the players something.
A fourth of a chicken nugget.
Okay. So let's talk really quickly timeline. Okay, so we're working really hard behind the scenes on getting everything up and running. As I've already mentioned, we have some amazing branding. We have a lot of things getting squared away. We're in conversations with people for sponsorships. Like, we're doing really well on that front. So the last piece of the puzzle is basically getting our players together and getting the show on the road, so to speak. We also need to design overlays and all that jazz. So basically our goal is, and I'm going to say this live, so this has to happen to some extent. You guys can hold us to this. If not, we'll apologize deeply. But our goal is to no later than March of 2025, no later than March, ideally even before that, but we're working really hard to get that going. That was actually a question from Focklebont in our server, so I wanted to answer that directly. You asked about the timeline. So we are looking to be in Q1 of 2025, get this going. But one of the things that we have to square away, we are in a bunch of interviews with our players right now. So we're not quite ready to reveal the entire cast. We're still finalizing some things up with interviews. But I know a lot of y'all are curious. I know both Lich Kitsune and Fakulbant in our server were asking about this. So I didn't want to do a whole live stream without giving, like one little piece of info. And I know some of y'all have been waiting for this, and some of you have asked specifically about this individual. So let us officially announce that.
Yes, I'm gonna be there.
That Waffles is going to be a co-GM. Let us officially announce that our very own Duval King Jacob, aka Jacob, our lovely Hideaki from Outcast and Outclass, will be joining us for this new show as well.
Let's go.
Let's go. There'll be a empty seat with the full set of dice set aside for Liam. That is freaking hilarious. Yay!
Woo!
Round of applause.
I'm excited. I'm excited to GM for Duval because he hates puzzles and I love them.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know how we forgot to mention that, Jacob? Don't worry about it. It's fine. He goes, yep, can't wait. Excellent. Okay. That is some of our current plans. I think I rescind my invitation. Too bad. Can't. Locked in. I know we had some talking points about some of I want to go to questions just based on time and everything. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. We had enough fun tech issues that other people don't know about, except for I'm saying it now.
Yeah. No, don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah.
The VOD starts when it starts. So there was nothing beforehand that you missed. Anyways.
And for us to weirdly skip to this point. Yeah. Okay.
As we were saying, without any previous cuts, Lana has so many wonderful questions. Thank you, Lana. How many players do you think you'll have in the party, and how do you envision the party makeup? So party makeup, oh my gosh, we're going to leave that completely open. If it's a party full of healers, then so be it. If it's party with all swords and no healers, no magic. Just also, listen, I'm never going to restrict it, and the campaign will develop in the way that the players make it. I don't make the rules.
And that's what's beautiful about Pathfinder. Like, you can play without a healer. You can honestly play without a tank. You just have to kind of set it up very specifically.
Yeah. And that's true. Jenna, I feel like a party of healers would kind of match the vibe. That would be if the players decide it, they can do it. But in terms of how many players, we are looking for 4 to 5 players, pending how many. Honestly, we do have to consider the fact that we're 2 GMs and then screen space. But I do like more people. But yeah, so anywhere from 4 to 5. We can't do too much more than that. 1.1, okay, questions 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3 from Lana is, what does Syrup and Waffles co-DMing look like, and how will that work with the show? What parts of DMing do you enjoy, and what are you each most excited for with DMing Golem?
Those are good questions.
Those are great questions. Lana, I love you. You're fantastic. So let's start with the first one. What does it look like, and how will that work in the show? I think that's a very great question, because I know that a lot of folks do co-DMing in a lot of different ways. Waffles and I happen to also be partners in life, so I hope that this will work out well.
We're going to fight so much.
We're going to fight all the time. No. But one of the things that we've discussed about, and I think it's important to know, anything that I'm talking about now is not set in stone. It can change. It can evolve, because we want to react well to how the show goes and kind of figure it out together. No, it will not cause a divorce. So The thought process is basically Waffles has GM'd a lot. I technically Outcast and Outcast was my first time GMing officially, and it was not in a homebrew world. It was set in an adventure path. So I'm very, very, very looking forward to kind of having a bit more free reign, being a bit more reactive in that front, which is something that Waffles excels at. But one of our stylistic differences as GMs is Waffles is wonderfully mechanics based. He has a crazy mind for mechanics. It's so good and is like just easy. Everything's balanced. Everything makes sense. Here you go. Which is a skill that I do not possess. As I will have to do any of that type of stuff if I was on my own by prepping it ahead of time, making sure everything is balanced and kind of having my NPC sheets and all that type of stuff. So
I will be for sure creating monsters and abilities that aren't in Pathfinder currently.
yes, he's going to be homebrewing the heck out of a lot of things, which I think is going to be very exciting. But mine is the more narrative style of I talk a lot. That's my jam. No, I'm very creative.
Which I suck at.
I'm very I like the narration. I love the immersion, and I like the moodiness, and I like the sort of like really being immersed in the role play moments. And so a lot of it will probably look like me doing a lot of the talking, but Waffles is doing a lot on the other end of things. So also he's going to be, like I mentioned earlier, live DJing everything for mood and aesthetic, something that he's also very, very excellent as. And then we're going to be distributing in a certain way certain NPCs. So
Which I'm excited for.
yeah, so certain
Like I'm
good.
Can I jump in here?
Please.
I am not good at like jumping into a bunch of different roles. Like, here's the bartender, here's the next person that walks up to you, here's your grandma. Like, I don't do good at that,
Here's your
especially switching
grandma.
between. You never know. I might be a grandma. But I am very excited to just almost be given a character sheet and play an NPC
Yeah.
and be like, this is your goal, ready, play.
And you have that additional bonus, right? Because you're the GM and you're not just a guest star or something like that. Like, if we have machinations behind the scenes that we're shooting for, you're able to know all of that, be apprised of all of that, and go for it as well. So I think that's going to be very, very exciting. Quick question from chat. I almost said quick question. I would love a GM to surprise me with my grandma. That's not a question.
Bonus points if it's the player's grandma.
Hold on. I lost the question. I'm no.
Mr. Archaic.
Yes, Mr.
Archaic.
Keck.
There's
Mr.
no R
Keck.
in there, but I said archaic.
What is going to be the split between combat and roleplay? We love our roleplay, so I think Waffles, you put it very nicely at 70% roleplay, 30% combat?
Yeah, I would say 70% roleplay, and then like some of the roleplay is obviously gonna have mechanics like roll for persuasion, roll to not fall down a mountain, blah blah blah. But the 30% would be like combat, in my opinion.
Yeah. And Jenna, yeah, so it sounds like one of you is going to be more roleplay side and the other will be more combat. Yes, absolutely. Though, again, I don't think it's going to be split down the middle because I wouldn't be playing a TTRPG if I didn't get my hand slightly in combat and rolling some dice.
Yeah, I mean, you'll still be like narrating combat. We'll
It'll be fun.
be able to have 20 creatures out there because I can play 10 and you can play 10.
So the username that we spoke earlier about, they said that their name is being mispronounced. So hi, being mispronounced. Thank you so much.
Got him.
Thanks for the clarification. I really appreciate it. Love being everyone in chat immediately jumping in. Freaking love it. Okay. Will there be this one this one is made me really laugh. Will there be actual space Jews? If so, how will they fit in the setting? Oh wait, I skipped so many fucking questions. I'm so sorry.
Oh my
I'm sorry.
gosh.
I'm sorry. Okay, Waffles. We talked about what parts of DMing we enjoy. But what are you most excited for DMing Golem?
Personally, the ability to kind of I don't want to say it the wrong way because you're gonna have equal input, but like puppet master a story and not have to narrate. Like that actually makes me excited.
Yeah, in our world building talks in general, and then obviously specifically with Golem, you have some really amazing twists and turns to certain narratives, and we're very reactive. So like also, I know that that's going to come up very very often, and well, Waffles has a special brain and always fucks with people in the ways they never expect, and I freaking love it. And I think that in the times that I've been a player in your games, Waffles, like it always blows my mind. It always just I'm so excited to have you on my team for those moments, if that makes sense. I think it's gonna be great.
Cheers to
Cheers
special
to
brains.
special brains, yes. When you first told me about this, I thought that Syrup would be on screen and things Waffles would be behind the scenes, but right now. But we are going to be side by side.
But I'm attractive, so I have to be on camera. I'm just kidding.
He said it. He can't take it back.
It's taken back.
I love it.
I am drinking a Sycamore, which is a local brewery IPA.
That's true. I freaking love that. Look at him. Okay, sorry. Not the beer. You can enjoy. Wait, you're not allowed to show that. Go. It's Twitch.
I'm allowed to show it.
Okay. Drink responsibly. I don't know.
Yeah, drink responsibly. I'm not getting drunk. I am enjoying a beer. That is it.
Okay, so now to the question. What part am I most excited about for DMing? I think I talked about it. Just really being able to get my hands in homebrew for the first time. Just really being able to be reactive and not genuinely. While I adored running Outcast and Outclassed, I think the majority of my stress was the players are telling such interesting stories, and I want to follow them, but I feel like if I go down too far this way, then the rest of the plot is gonna not be relevant anymore.
I've had that problem once before, that like when the players become more interesting than the book you're running.
Yes. And so I'm so excited to be freed from those constraints. Consider this is going to be my egotistical moment of Waffle saying he was gorgeous. So now my turn is consider me GMing Outcast and Outclassed with one hand tied behind my back. Now I'll be free to rain terror on everyone. So I'm very excited for that. Okay, now will there be actual space Jews? I'll be very honest, I don't really know what that question means. Like, will there be Jews in space? A la, part 2 of, what's the movie? We just talked about it, and I'm blanking on it. History of the World.
Airplane?
No, History of the World, part 2.
That's not a movie.
Stars of David. But, I think this is a good segue to this question, which is going to be very, very interesting, and I'm going to be very careful and warn Waffles not to give too much away here. But I think this is something that Jenna, our lovely graphic designer, also realized in our conversation, so I think I'll share this much. This will be more grounded than perhaps expected for Starfinder, but for good reason. I think it'll be... And I can't say forever, because who knows what the players will do, but I think we're going to start our story in one place, and we'll see where we go from there. So will there be actual space Jews? Who knows? Never say never.
I've sneak peeked some of these questions, too, so if that explanation is giving you questions, some of these other questions may answer them, too.
True. That's true. I know. I mean, yeah. History of the World Part 1 is there's nothing like it.
I was right, though. The second one isn't a movie, and you're wrong.
But they reference History of the World Part 2 in Part 1 when it wasn't a thing. Okay, anyways. What will the mix of Pathfinder to Starfinder be like? Fantasy in space? Aliens in castles? What is the vision?
Aliens in castles is wild.
What is the vision? I don't want to tell you yet. It's my little secret. I will leave you with questions afterwards, that because you did it so well, Waffles.
Okay. Can I give one, like, just good throw?
Mm-hmm.
At level 1, you will not see a planet explode.
That's true.
Okay. There you go.
Let's give up. Should I you made a really cool list of possibilities.
Yeah.
I think this is a good time for me to say maybe. Some things that are maybe. Okay?
Sure.
Maybe the timeline isn't exactly as you think. Maybe there's those that would corrupt the world with power. Maybe the world isn't as ideal as everyone thinks. And maybe it's time to do something about it. Jenna goes, you're going to let your players have agency, that's great, but is there anything you're hoping is going to happen in the game or plot themes you want to explore? Like, are you hoping for a redemption arc or overthrow the government?
I have a cop-out answer for this.
No, I have a legitimate answer. Do you want your cop-out answer first?
Yeah, my cop-out answer is I hope that the players choose something fun.
That's a good.
Because I just want to react to whatever they choose.
So I think a lot of this will be more finalized when the players create their characters, because I think that's a very important part of incorporating every player's story into the world as a whole, and how that's going to morph our current foundation. We do have a foundation. You hope for a character that picks up the cursed object with their hands, of course.
Yes.
And that reminds me that I have to tell everybody about.
That's why Jacob's playing. sorry.
Oh my gosh. Perfect. No notes. Let's just end the stream there. Oh man. Okay, no. So the actual answer to like what we're hoping for, as I mentioned it earlier, Tikkun Olam. Tikkun Olam being something that I really want to see within the game, within the story that we tell as well. But obviously we talked about it. Solarpunk, while poised like a utopia, our world is not. And so what's going to start with some issues, right, will develop into bigger things. And I definitely want to tell that story of wanting to make the world a better place. So in terms of, you know, are we going to have an all evil campaign of players? No, this is not the story for that. So we do have that kind of direction. Yes, you can. I'll get. Why won't chat scroll up for me? There it is. Okay. The rule for ancestry must have more than 2 arms. No. All flesh warps. One specifically put on a cursed ring that apparently the GM had expected me to specifically prevent anyone from ever putting on. I mean, that sounds like a big red button that you were asked not to push. It's not your fault. I believe in you. I either play I touch it with my hands, or I have plus 100 in history. Give me all the sweet lore. Yeah, I would love that. No lawful. Well, not that there's not going to be any in the campaign, but you know, all space hell knights. Right? You wish that would be your ideal. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. Will there be ways you make the Jewish aspects more accessible to your non-Jewish fans? Maybe some Q&As or little FAQ sheets. Yes. Okay, I actually really love this question. So, yes, there is. One of the things that I was originally kind of really concerned about when it comes to this is that's a good question too. So, one of the concerns that I first had was we're not doing a 1-for-1. We're not in this. This is still a fantasy sci-fi world that is vast, and we're not saying, and then here's a group of people that are called the Jewish people, right? We're not doing it one for one. This is going to be allegorical. This is going to be heavy on themes and imagery that I think are going to be universal, because a lot of the Jewish experience is universal, and we definitely want to showcase that. So, but then how do we not have that be lost? How do we have some of those Jewish aspects not just be like, oh, this is just a story like every other story? So what we were going to do, what we want to do, is have a little conversation, a little show after, and it's not going to be after every session, but maybe after 1, 2, or 3 sessions, we're going to have a little conversation talk show, talking about some of the Jewish themes that we've been seeing in the past few sessions. So we're going to be able to have some of those discussions, and we get to hear a little bit more insight. We'll have not all of our players on all the time, but we'll have, rotating amounts of players come in for those post-show conversations and kind of talk about it. And then additionally, I think I'm very excited, Jacob being on our show. Jacob is not Jewish, but we also thought it was very important. Somebody mentioned this, I think, in one of our servers, is
honestly multiple people.
Yeah, a lot of people have mentioned this now. Having a non-Jewish perspective on the cast, I think, is super, super important, because this is not supposed to be an exclusive show. This is supposed to be an inclusive show. And so I think we'll also gain a lot from having Jacob's perspective on the show.
That was.
You're not coming.
Oh, my bad. I pressed the wrong button. To be honest, that was one of my big pushing points in the beginning of the show. Being like, I converted myself, and so like having the knowledge that like, oh, I would be a non-Jew if I hadn't converted. Watching this show, I told her, I was like, for a diverse show, I do think we need a non-Jew.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pronounced James. Yeah, we talked with Jacob a little bit about some of the themes that we were planning on exploring in just kind of a general sense. And yeah, they are very, very universal. But I think they also have an extra layer that can hit home with the Jewish story and the Jewish people. So we did a lovely we have more questions from Lana. I'm going to jump down. I know that Shlomo also had some questions, and I want to just make sure that we get to those as well.
We have so many questions.
We have so many questions. I'll try to, we'll speed run.
Good problem to have. We have more in chat too, so.
Question: do you think the show will inspire anyone to convert? I totally ADHD'd. I see a question in chat, and I'm like, question from chat.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't even answer Jenna's up there, did we?
Oh, wait, did we? Hold on.
How long do you think the game will run?
Oh, that's a very good... Okay, yeah, let me get to that. So, how...
ADHD.
Don't take my medicine anymore. It's great. How long do you think the game will run? Are you expecting like 10 sessions, multiple years? I definitely expect a longer story, longer campaign with this. Whereas we had like distinct sections in the other, in like Outcast and Outclass, because every book that we went through was going to be like a kind of a pause point as a way to check in with all the players and everything. I do feel this is very much a long form campaign. I couldn't possibly tell you how many sessions, but as long as we all like each other still and we're all having a good time, then we're going to tell this story. And then we'll still have moments inside to like check in, and if people have commitments and things like that, you know, life happens.
Yeah. I mean, kind of like O&O, we went 2.5 years and the crowd still wanted it. Other stuff happened, obviously. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's going to be the same here. If y'all want it, and we're happy with everyone around, then it's going to keep going.
Yep, absolutely. Will one of the characters pull up the Vulcan salute? Yes. Yes, that's a...
Is that the weird piece thing?
It's the Katakoanim.
Yeah.
That Spock introduced. What's
Yep.
the... Leonard...
Spock. Yeah, I forget his name.
Cohen.
You told... Leonard Cohen sounds familiar. You told me he was Jewish, though, and I never knew
Nimoy.
that. Right?
Nimoy. Nope, that's the other Jewish. Never mind. Leonard Nimoy. Wrong Leonard. Everyone in chat, Nimoy. Syrup. It's
Called
Nimoy.
out.
Syrup.
Syrup.
My bad. Yes, Leonard Nimoy, thank you. I apologize.
I'd like to reference ADHD again.
No, I genuinely think that like everyone that was in like that fandom, I'm done. I'm out of this. I've been canceled. Nimoy would be a great name for a Skittermander, actually. I love that.
It really would.
Okay, wait, now where's do you think the show will inspire anyone to convert? I don't know.
I'll jump out here and say I big hope. Only because I big hope if it's what they want. And I say that only because I'll retract it a little. I'll take a small step back, and I say that only because when we did the O&O show, I had someone that basically came out to me basically came out on YouTube comments like towards me to be like, I realize why I hate your character so much. I'm autistic too.
Yeah.
And like just that like sharing of kinship really got to me about the show. Someone that could get that like that close to a character in the show to say that.
Yeah. One of the things with Judaism, right? We don't proselytize. We don't ask anybody to convert. So if somebody watched our show, identified it with it enough that meant something to them, and obviously I think it's not going to be the show itself, but it would be like our conversations about it, and then started a journey to make sure that was something that they wanted to do, I mean, then they'd be coming home is how I would view it. And I don't know if I've helped facilitate that realization, amazing, but that's between them and their journey, to be honest. Okay, so if you're going to let the show go on as long as it's fun, does that mean you don't have a general idea of the big problem already? No, we do, actually. We have very much a solid sort of like, here's the foundation, here's our arc 1, but the best thing about having like the big problem is that those are arcs, right? Those are seasons, if you want, from a TV show, and just like if a TV show gets renewed for another season, we can make it work.
Yep.
We can scale up. We can make, maybe this becomes a mythic. Who knows? The sky's the limit.
For anyone that cares about homebrewing, my entire philosophy is, and Syrup shares this with me, is come up with the end problem, and you can just connect the dots. So if the show goes 5, 6 seasons, we know where the problem's likely going to end, but we don't know anything in the middle. We're just connecting those dots with the player stories.
I will also say, from a personal perspective, this is not something that I want to go on indefinitely. I don't think I ever want it to go on indefinitely.
No.
So this is not something like, oh yeah, 5 seasons in, like, let's keep going, let's find another one. If it feels right, if things have been resolved, if things are, we've gone through each of the players' stories, we feel like we've done a good job, then it will end, and we'll go on to the next thing.
Yep. Make maps, leave gaps. Yes.
That's really cool. I like that. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Shlomo's questions. Since it's a hybrid of Path and Starfinders, do you plan on using Jewish themes as we apply them narratively today, or come up with something new that we'd have to wrestle with that could be unique to a fantasy sci-fi setting? Yes, I think a little bit of both. I think like I mentioned, because it's its own world, and it's going to be, we can, in a fantasy world, we can grapple with things that we don't get to grapple with here. But I think the underlying tones and the underlying themes are, I want to say the same, but will resonate the same.
I mean, sorry, can I jump in? The way I see it is, imagine The Walking Dead. You have stories of corruption. Then imagine Game of Thrones. You have stories of corruption. Then imagine Cyberpunk 2077. You have stories of corruption.
Yeah.
And like that same, like you have this in different settings can apply to the Jewish themes that we're planning to apply.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'll try to go through these questions quick. We'll wrap up soon. I think that you don't watch any of those shows.
I'm talking to the wrong people.
That was like so beautiful. I was like, oh, that's really great examples. That's so deep. Good job, Waffles. I have seen none of those shows.
Imagine the last 3 shows you saw where you were like, man, this guy's screwed up. Yep, that can happen in all 3 of those shows. Woo!
What is? Wait, sorry. This is a great question. What is the doll on your door handle? Hold on.
Oh gosh, okay.
Here you go. This is the doll.
We're real streamers now.
Yes.
We get up and show stuff.
This is a creepy doll that stares at us. It's not the creepiest doll in the room. Waffles, I can't reach that, but if you want to carefully take out the creepiest doll in the room, you can.
Top left corner.
Yep, top left corner. This is a damn it doll. Here, just hand it to me over here.
Oh, I was gonna
Okay. A damn it doll, which is meant to be like when you get upset, you get to like smack it around. That's the cursed doll that we have that watches over us all. I love it so much. It sits up on the wall. Why do you have that? Because I saw it at a craft fair. It was somebody made it. And I looked at a bunch of those and I was like, this one is mine. And then I took it home with me.
I think it's really cool that it has silverware on the back of its head.
Yes.
That's my favorite part.
It's very cute and it will only haunt you a little bit. All right. Since Golem is a Jewish TTRPG, how do you plan on striking a balance between Jewishness as a culture, people, and religion with its themes and game mechanics? I feel like we talked about this a little bit. I think a lot of that's going to be we're gonna see the stories that we tell together. It's gonna be absolutely collaborative effort amongst the players. That's why we also need to have other Jewish players as well, because I think Judaism means different things to different people, and we want to definitely showcase that. We want folks that are more connected to the religious side of things, but you could also be Jewish and not really be religious, and that's going to showcase more of the cultural side of things. But all of us are the people, and so all of us will be represented. And again, I think a lot of that balance is going to come in with, we're just going to tell like a great story during the show, and then we're going to have conversations kind of more directly tying it to some of the Jewish themes in those separate streams. Our whole Blades game now revolves around the fact that one of my players owns a Victorian porcelain cat doll, and we decided it was an occult item, and the rest of the crew hates it. Yes, the players.
Not characters, players.
Players. Oh, that's amazing. I love it. All right, let me jump back up here. Let me scan through because I think we've talked a lot about. I don't want to repeat ourselves too much.
Yeah, we're getting into the asked and answered.
Yep. Oh, I like this question. Okay. What does Golem's schedule look like? How often do you expect to release episodes? And how? Okay. So similarly to Outcast and Outclassed, we're probably gonna make this a bi-weekly show, or almost 99.9% going to be bi-weekly, like we have for everything else. So yeah, that's the schedule, but we hope to have additional content like the talk show that we're going to do afterwards, and we definitely want to kind of be more active and have more folks. So with the community that we're building, we're also again, we were trying to multi-stream today, and one of those tests was going to be Moonbeam, because we have a realm on Moonbeam. We're going to be working with them for that stuff. So we want to encourage more one-shots. We want maybe, some of our community to be able to host one-shots within that space when we get out of alpha with Moonbeam. So we have a lot of plans for a lot more content for y'all, and we're really hopeful that this is just the start of a wonderful community. But yeah, if you are interested in getting an early invite to Moonbeam while it's in its alpha, and you want to, help us check it for bugs and all that jazz, let us know. You can come into our Discord, which is where we're currently joining our little community, and then we'll be able to share that soon with y'all. Yeah, we had, funnily enough,
bugs.
Jack, yours is the only one that has had this many issues. So I kind of appreciate it. Thanks for being the guinea pig. All right, so good question. Are there
What?
Waffles? Are there any special ways you'd like fans to interact with the show?
Uh, yes.
Great answer.
No, that's my answer. I have a lot of thoughts that I haven't even shared with Syrup yet, so they're
Ooh.
not coming, and they're not even fully developed yet. But I do.
Drop one.
Uh,
Live. Unfiltered.
drop one live, unfiltered.
Hearing it first time. Everybody, take your
Okay,
clips out. Ready?
This,
Get ready.
this
to
one, this one's a cop out kind of
Oh, okay.
for anyone who's watched this before. But I really, really enjoyed the type of glitching the Matrix lore drops that we had in our Starfinder game. It was like a community goal. People submitted syrup points to it, and when it hit like 15,000 out of 15,000,
That's a
we
really good.
zoomed elsewhere in the world to show people something.
I didn't think about that, but I think I'd be very good at that. I actually really like
I do
that.
too. You just have to have it like written up when you think it's gonna happen, basically. But yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome. I like that. Let's have like a collective goal that all of our live watchers can kind of contribute to
Yep.
get some lore drops in there. I love
Yep.
that. Okay.
I do have other thoughts, but those are not fully fleshed out yet to where they make sense without breaking the game.
Yes. The ever present problem. And then of course, if that wasn't said, but we just like we have done for Outcast in our class, we want to do redemptions to provide the players with hero points, or as we call them, chicky nuggies or owlbear nuggets.
All because one player had their owlbear fried by a chain lightning.
And made chicky nuggies, or made owlbear nuggies, which we, call chicky nuggies for short. And is the reason we have the mascot that you see, Rip Parenthal, but all the emotes that are in our chat on Twitch and on our Discord are that one owlbear Parenthal. Rip.
Rip.
What role will homebrew play in Golem? Okay, I like this as a kind of our last question. So if anybody else has any questions in chat, get them in now while we answer this one last one. Yes, what's up, Waffles?
I was gonna say the next one after this, or the one before this, I think was a good question too. But if you don't want to answer it, I understand.
I just feel like we've talked a little bit about that. So we're gonna go to
Okay.
What role will homebrew play in Golem? And are you going to be creating classes, species, creatures to add in? Yes. So
Yes.
yes. What role will homebrew play? Yes, it will.
Yes, it will play a role.
So we want that balance. So here's the thing with Starfinder2e specifically, right? We want to get our hands in there. We want to make sure that we are playing the system. I think that's always an important balance for me. I love homebrew, but I'll be very honest, especially for those coming from a D&D background, homebrew is going to be a little bit different. Homebrew Pathfinder, in my opinion, and I'm going to assume Starfinder2e as well, is very balanced, very easy to balance, and that makes homebrew, especially with Waffles' amazing mechanical mind, very much going to be within the realm of everything's balanced, everything's going to still make sense. You the players, as well as like the audience, will feel like nothing is kind of like OP and like, oh, well, the players' abilities don't matter anymore, things like that. None of that will be the case. So when we talk about homebrew, some of that might be just adjusting certain like existing creatures to have things that make sense to the world that we have them in, which sounds so vague because I can't spoil some things, but it'll make sense. I promise.
It will, yeah. What I can say is anything that Syrup comes to me that we both create together and or that the players want to homebrew that also makes sense for the story, I have no problem making it within the Pathfinder2e or Starfinder2e confines. They set it up very easy to make it, and I love homebrew.
Yeah. Something I haven't mentioned that I don't know, but I will. We're starting in Pathfinder2e.
Yeah, you didn't mention. I was scared to mention that. So
Yeah, we're starting in Pathfinder2e.
so there will probably not be, for those in chat, since she said this, I'll jump in and say there will probably not be Skittermanders right at the beginning. Our players will probably not be Skittermanders.
Not at first, that's for sure. But over time, over time, who knows what will happen? Who knows how the world changes and how we get a Skittermander with 6 guns? What's the tone here? Well, do you think you're going to be more serious or more silly? I know every game is a mix of both, but are you hoping for more of a certain tone? I do love that question very, very much. I like that balance. Oh, the girly wants to go out. Okay, the dog is here saying my time is winding down. So I think there is a balance to strike. We love our drama. I think there's going to be serious moments. There's going to be intense moments. I think there's going to be like, I mean, if I'm doing my job right, there'll be tears, I hope, which is a weird thing to hope for, but you know, it's fine. But I still want to have fun. So I think to me, my favorite type of game to play and my favorite type of game to watch is very much lies, Jacob, lies and slander, is very much though this, we're going to tell a deep story. We're going to tell a meaningful story, but we're not going to be stone-faced the entire time. We are going to crack jokes. We're going to have the humor. We're going to have a fun dynamic amongst the players and make sure that everybody is having a good time. So I think that's I don't know if that answers your question, but I hope it does. It's gonna be a nice balance.
Yeah. Can I answer weirdly from my point of view?
Yeah.
So I enjoy my version of dark humor, which is not like haha boom dark joke. It's more the story. I guess it's more Shakespearean, right? Like the story's been tragedy, but boom, here's a comedy moment.
Yeah, I can see that. Dry, yes, you have very dry dark humor.
Yeah. Dry, I mean, like the city might be being attacked by a dragon, but you can still find this one funny part that happens because we're still all human, right? Like.
Yeah. Yep. I think the only time I cried during a game was when my gym accidentally hit a trigger. Oh. No, definitely not. Just like we have done with all of our streams, and especially if we're going to be doing one-shots with everybody, I'm going to ask everybody to adopt this. We have our safety cards. We're going to have vibe checks before every show. We are very, very... we care very much about that, making sure everybody feels safe and comfortable to tell the stories that they want to tell, because it's not a good story if people aren't comfortable telling it. I think that's the underlying one. Jacob is defined. I believe in Jacob. Or make new ones, and then I will laminate them for you, and like not let you. They'll be magnets, and you can just stick them to your computer. Maybe don't put magnets near your computer though. Yeah, you gotta have some real talk sometimes, and we definitely like. I think that's happened before for us, where at the end of the day, while this is improv, and this is storytelling, and this is humor, and this is everything that we want it to be, as anything you'd expect the TTRPG to be, every one of the players and everybody of the production involved in the production is a person, first and foremost, and that's going to always come first. So that kind of comes into play in a lot of different times, and sometimes that's why we'll have to miss a show, you know, because life happens, and if someone's not in a good place, then we're not going to be telling a good story, and I don't want to tell a partial story just for the algorithm, just for the numbers. Like, that's just not what we're about. Yeah, you keep the chat. Yeah, we always have a Discord chat private that we can always talk to, and we've had that happen before where someone was just like, I'm here, I'm gonna take a second, don't mind, like, I'm okay, you know, like checking in, kind of like that.
Yup.
Also, the gifts that roam free,
the gifts that keep giving.
While people, like, if like two people are having like a serious moment, the gifts, they never fail to,
that's my favorite,
break my character. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up now. This has been absolutely amazing. Thank you all so much for your interest and your love, and I'm gonna pull in one last question because it makes sense. Lana asked this, and I'm super appreciative. How can fans best support you and the show as you head into development? Join us in our Discord. For now, until we move over to Moonbeam. Join us, talk, enjoy yourselves, be proudly who you are, know that we're a safe space to do so, whether you're Jewish or not. And then spread the word. I mean, we're going to announce things. The best way to stay in touch with that is in the Discord. And then when we talk about things, or maybe we post it, help us share the word, tell your friends, share the post on socials. Like, as much as I hate social media, unfortunately, we do need it. So if you help us boost the algorithm, that's great too. But at the end of the day, come join us, come join the community, come hang out with us, and we'll be super appreciative.
I have one in here too. We just, if you need a free way to help us, obviously any kind of money helps. I'm not going to feel ashamed to say that. But if you do need a free way to help us, we just hit partner on YouTube. We just monetized.
Well, we've been partner, but we just hit the
Sure.
We just finished. I'm so proud.
Yeah, we just hit the big monetize, I should say. So a like, a subscribe, just click copy on the link.
Oh yeah.
You don't even have to post it anywhere. Just click copy on the link. It makes YouTube think you're sharing it with people. Those are all very easy, free ways to help, especially if you're already watching the VOD.
Perfect. Oh wait. Oh my God. I forgot to show the stuff.
Oh no, it's art time.
It's art. Oh my God, I'm a mess. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's fan over this together.
I can't believe you tried to get out of that.
All right, you ready?
You must hate our designer.
No, don't say that. I'm sorry. All right, y'all. You're not ready for this. Look at the gorgeousness that is our current logo. Dun, 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 dun. Here you go. Ah!
Sheesh.
It's so freaking gorgeous, y'all.
It just makes so much sense, and it's pretty for just like a good logo.
It's so beautiful. I'm just gonna stare at this for a second. So first of all, Golem. Now put a Star of David in it. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Maybe we should look into that.
It goes inside the
But the little solar flare of the O in Golem to like the Starfinder, the Art Deco, all around it, it's everything. It's everything I wanted. It's so good. It's so beautiful. Can you tell some of the reasons for the choices made design wise? I would have to point you to Cubist Octopus, the wonderful designer. Sorry, I'm reading at the same time. Our wonderful designer. We have a certain vibe that we were looking for, and unfortunately, I can't share too much of it because it does involve world lore, as to why things are a certain way.
I will just say, for the fun of seeing it once, I will just say, Bleeble Spoot kind of hit it on the nose there for what you were telling me in the beginning of this. I don't think it's translated exactly to our lore of the story, but I remember you saying this. The elves are Art Nouveau and dwarves are Art Deco. Nouveau.
Elves are Art Nouveau, dwarves are Art Deco. Kind of. That might be a red herring. Y'all might take that the wrong way, but in a way, that has come into our head before.
Let me throw my red herrings out there.
Okay.
Co-GM.
Okay, well, man, I didn't want them to take it too far in the wrong direction. Yeah, that's true. That's something we'll talk about though, about the Jewish star, because maybe we'll put a poll and see what everybody thinks, if it's too on the nose or not, but it's an interesting thought for sure. But
Agreed.
Anyways, jokes on yellow hair. All right, I just had to showcase that because it's so freaking gorgeous, and the colors, the warmth and listen, that's my color scheme. This is my jam.
Yeah, it's so good.
This is my love. All right, Jenna, you're amazing. Thank you so much as always. Jump back here to us. So we had a couple little teasers for you tonight, a little bit about the show, a little bit about why we're doing this, and a little bit of a player reveal and art reveal. Everything's looking amazing. We're so excited. We're doing we're doing all we can behind the scenes. I know it's been quiet. It's been also the holidays, but know that we are working super hard, wrapping up player interviews, and we hope to have more announcements, more exciting news for y'all very, very soon. Keep an eye out in our Discord or our socials for announcements on when we're finally going to go live with all of this, and we'll try to do some more streams in between all of that just to hang out with y'all, because we appreciate this community very, very much.